Hi everybody, I'm Rockin' Robin. Today I'm going to show you how to make an edible fruit arrangement or basket. Very similar to a flower arrangement, only this one you get to eat. And this is perfect for entertaining. Let's say you want to put on a spread on your table and you can use this as your centerpiece. Or you can use it as a gift. Now I recently made one and gave it to my mom for her birthday. So I'm going to show you how to do it right after this. So let's get started by going over the things we're going to need to make this little basket or arrangement and the fruit that we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying here is the glass container that I used to make the arrangement for my mother. It's large and you can get a lot of fruit on there. So if you have, a lot of people you're entertaining, you're going to want to use something large. But today I'm going to be using this small little cup here just for demonstration purposes, and it works really well. All right, so we're going to need some cabbage, or you can use a head of lettuce, iceberg lettuce, and we're going to use that and put it in our container, and that's what we're going to poke our skewers in so that they are suspended in there. It holds them in place. So we'll need that, and I'm going to use a little bit of kale for decoration. And here I've got the bamboo sticks. You're going to need some of these, nice and long, and we're going to stick them in like this vertically. Now here I've got a cutout. It's a heart shape, and that is going to be used to cut out some nice little heart shapes of watermelon, make it nice and cute. All right, I've got a watermelon here, and I like to chill my fruit up so it's nice and cold. I'm going to be using some kiwi, some grapes, and I've got some chocolate here that I've started to melt if we want to dip our strawberries. You don't have to do that, that's optional. And I also have a video on how to dip strawberries in chocolate and actually put the little white coating on it too if you like that. That's all optional. And we'll need some pineapple, and that should do it. The first thing we want to do is take our cabbage and shape it into the container that you're going to use. That way it'll fit right in there. So I would just trim this down a little bit, and you're going to measure. So you're going to, I'll put this over here, and you're going to just try and fit it in. All right, so it still doesn't fit, so I just keep trimming until we get there. Okay, now you could leave this just like it is, but I like to add a little bit of kale for a little more greenery, and it's kind of fluffy. So I take a piece of kale or any kind of leafy green, and I like to put it on top. All right, so when I start sticking things into this, it'll hold it in place. Now I'm going to move into the watermelon. So take your watermelon, and I'm just going to cut it in half. Oh, looks like a nice one. That aside, and I'm going to be very careful when you do this because it's kind of round and it wants to move around on you. So I cut a little piece off to get myself a flat surface. And I'm going to cut a wheel of this that's about, well, it's about as thick as this heart, so which is about 1 inch. So I'm going to try and cut down. So you want to cut, whoops, wheels of that, and then you take your cookie cutter, it could be any shape you want, and just cut out pieces of watermelon, just like that. Look at that, nice and cute. So I'll go ahead and cut out a bunch of these, and when I get done, we'll move on to the next fruit. So there we have our little heart-shaped watermelons. Guess what, guys? That would be really cool for Valentine's Day. Can you imagine that with some strawberries, maybe chocolate covered, and the whole thing? It would be beautiful. But anyway, now we're gonna move on to our pineapple. So cut off the end. I like to cut off both ends actually. And then I like to cut this in half. It just makes it much easier to work with. And by the way, guys, just so you know, this half over here, the bottom half, is sweeter. Yeah. So put that aside. And I'm going to trim off the outer part. Now I want to mention that a lot of people like to take their pineapples and use a big cookie cutter, and they cut out the center and they actually include the core. And I don't like to do that because I don't like to eat that part or have that part to deal with when I'm trying to eat my pineapple. So what I like to do is I'm going to cut that out and just cut the pineapple into chunks. So cut it in half again, that way you have access to the core here, and just slide that, take that right out. Then take your section there and cut it into nice sized chunks. And that way these will be bite-sized, so when you take one of those and you eat it, it's very comfortable to eat. So I like to do my chunks that way. You could do spears, and I'll show you how to do that. You just take a section and just leave it large. Now we're going to do our kiwi if you're using kiwi, and you just want to peel it. We can cut little wheels, kind of making them chunky so that they're a little stiffer and they'll stay on the stick a little better. So we've got our wheels of kiwi, so you can do that, or I'll cut this one into more like spears. Just remember to make them thick enough so that they'll stay on the stick. So cut them into thirds like that, each half. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the strawberries. I've already rinsed these and dried them. You wanna make sure they're dry before you put them in chocolate. So take one of your little sticks, and I'm leaving the leaves on, so I'm just gonna push this through the bottom. I'm not gonna go all the way through. And I'm gonna pull the leaves back a little bit so that they're not gonna get into the chocolate. Now I took my chocolate and I put it in this little dish, microwaved it for 30 seconds on high, stirred it, and then did it again until it's nice and soft. This is a quick and easy way to do this. And so what I'm gonna do here is just dip this in, give it a twirl, and then I'm gonna let this kind of drip off a little bit. Now I have some styrofoam. You can either pick this up at a craft store. I happen to have a box of packing that had some in it, and so I'm just using that. And I'm gonna hold it upright like this, and I'm gonna stick it in until it firms up and gets hard before we stick it into our little arrangement. So now we're ready to start assembling. So I'm gonna take my kale, place it on top, and I'm gonna put my chocolate covered strawberry right in the middle. Stick it in, and I think I'll put those in, spread them around. I'm gonna break my stick off a little bit so it's not quite so tall. Just take a little piece, and you just stick those in. I'm gonna go ahead and place my sticks in first before I put the fruit on them. It's just easier to get them in without trying to, hold the fruit. And so I'm just gonna place these around, just stick them in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the fruit to the sticks. And you can do it any way you want, any order, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna start in the center though, because it's just a little easier. Tell you what, I'm gonna start with a grape, because it helps to kind of hold the fruit and keeps it from sliding down the stick. And you can put as much on here as you want. I can put a couple grapes, piece of pineapple, and maybe we'll top it off with a kiwi. And the kiwi is the softest. Look at that. Okay, and of course, we got to put some hearts on there, right? So I'm going to put a nice big heart here. I'll put again, I like to use the grapes, and if blueberries or blackberries work really well too. I'll put one down there, and then we'll add our heart. And I'll just keep assembling these, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, guys, I'm almost done. And I tell you, it's looking pretty good. I keep getting my hand in the chocolate. What a shame. We'll just have to eat it, I guess. The ones with the chocolate are gonna go first. I just know it. So there you have it, guys. Check this out. And by the way, I picked up this little cup and saucer. Wow, that's pretty heavy. For like $1.50 at the craft store. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And what a healthy thing to eat. I mean, this would be great for Easter. You could make this for Easter and everybody would just love it. So everybody, I want to thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll try this. Let me know if you do. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do make videos all the time. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.